Okay, this is the video to go over some of the features of the Point Gadget tool. I'll just start from the beginning from left to right. This is going to be your shoot tool, and it basically allows you to manually place point markers anywhere in your model that you need. And simply to use it, you just click it here. It's going to ask for a feature or description or point label. Let's keep it at point. Okay, and you simply just click and shoot anywhere you want in the model. While you're shooting, you can actually measure out distances here. So if I want this to be, let's say, 6 feet in the green direction, there you go, and maybe 1 foot this direction, and it'll create it for you. Okay. If you want to place markers based on XYZ coordinates, you can simply just click this next tool, the XYZ tool, and this menu will come up. And again, it's going to ask you for the point feature. In this case, I'll just say 0.2. You get to choose your units that you want it to use. I'll keep it at feet. And then you simply type in the XYZ coordinate that you want to place the marker at. So let's just do this. 5. And we're going to keep that. Let's actually take this and make it at a 1 foot mark. So there you go. You can see here's the marker right there. The next tool in line is the inspector, and this is a tool that you will use to actually take a look at the information that's attached or associated with each marker. And as I just click on it and hover over each green marker symbol, it'll tell you the actual coordinates that that marker represents. And in line, actually, the order of information is going to be, the first one's going to be the origin, and that's 0, 0, 0. So the point information below that is relative to the 0, 0, 0 origin, which is actually this axis right here. Okay. The second one in line is the actual point XYZ location. The units are going to be in the units that SketchUp has been set at. The third in line is going to be the point ID. That's very important if you plan on perhaps exporting out your data set out as a CSV to bring into another piece of software or hardware. And the fourth piece of information is that label or feature name that I designated. Okay, so again, you just select it and then you just hover over various ones, and they'll tell you exactly, what those points represent. If you want to get a report on either a subset of these or the entire allotment of markers or points, you simply click this report tool here. On the Mac, you have to kind of right-click on it. I'm not sure why. It has to do with the way it's dynamically being generated. I don't think on a PC you'll have a problem with it popping up, but just pop up the window and right-click if you're on the Mac, and you'll get the actual full report. Okay, and as you can see here, here are all the points, including that last one that I used for the XYZ tool. And if you want, you can actually select individual points. Let me go ahead and zoom back out here like this, and you'll see that if there's a need for you to determine or find a specific marker or point in a large data set, then you can simply select here and it'll be highlighted for you. Okay. You also have the capabilities of reordering these by either any of the XYZ coordinates, okay, or by even sort them by their name. So any of these columns will allow you to sort. Okay. I did mention that you can do a subset if you wanted to. So let's say you wanted to grab a bunch of markers like this, and then right click, and then sure enough, only they will be reported on. Okay. Next tool in line is the conversion tool. Okay, the conversion tool is for you to convert construction points into these markers and have them registered with the plugin so they can be either exported out as a CSV or reported on with the report tool or the inspector tool. So again, you just make some construction points this way. Let's do another one just to make it easy to see. Go ahead and either select a subset of them or just hit this tool in general and it'll find all the construction points in your model, and there it's going to convert to. Say yes, and then again you get the opportunity to actually label this. So I'm going to say this is CP1. That's my label. Okay, and you'll see here that they've been converted over, and there are your labels and all the information. The point IDs are automatically generated in ascending order based on the last one in your model. Okay, so they're automatically assigned to the points. Again, these are construction points that you create within SketchUp. Perhaps you have a Ruby script that creates construction points, or perhaps when you're importing a CAD model, construction points will come across there. So you can convert all those construction points into actual markers, so you can report on them. All right. The next tool in line is the update tool. This is more for just making sure everything's ready for reporting. One use case would be, I'm going to go ahead and load up the components. All these markers are actual instances of a component that the plugin installs. And here it is right here. And I'm going to go ahead and drag this in. And maybe drag in a few here. Okay. Notice that these are white, while all the markers that I've created with these tools are green. Green means that they've been registered. The plugin is aware of them. White means basically that it's just geometry. They're not considered markers by the plugin. So this is the opportunity for you to actually place these in the environment, maybe if you want to drag them from the component browser, and then at any point in time, perhaps you want to just turn them into actual Point Gadget markers and select. There you go. Actually, what you saw there is if you don't have anything selected, it'll update all the markers, including ones that I introduced through the browser. Let's do this again just for clarification's sake. Okay. So, and then notice this. If I use the inspector tool on this, it'll actually tell me, let me move this over here, that these instances need to be updated in order for them to work with the plugin. Okay. So I'll just go ahead and select these and update. There you go. Okay. One other item to note is that the description here, I gave you the dialog to actually label them. If you were going to be creating point markers by using the unregistered markers, you will have to manually change these to and give them label names. Because right now, I'll go to entity info, the label names that I have are actually, for the registered ones, are the instance names. Okay, so here's point, and since these were brought in with as unregistered first, just go ahead and select these and then change these to let's go ahead and just say this is CP3. Okay. Now notice that they all have CP3 on there. Okay. You'll also want to note that as I've been creating these with unique label names, the plugin dynamically or automatically creates layers and places each marker on their respective layer. So it automatically created CP3 layer. This will allow you to actually go in here and actually turn on and off the layers that you don't want to see or visualize. These here, since I haven't named them, don't have a, well, actually they did create a specific label. It's right here with no name in front of it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and just select these three. Say, let's call these CP4, and you'll notice here when I hit enter, CP4 is created, and these were all placed on CP4. All right, so that's a little bit of, might help you with some organization of all your points. All right, and that's the update tool. Next in line is the import tool. So this is going to be for those who have points already placed on, excuse me. This is the import tool. It's for those who have perhaps data from a total station or some other piece of software that spits out points in TXT or CSV format. I'll just show you how this works. And there's one thing I want to keep in mind here. Let's go ahead and just delete these. I'll just take note of this one here. And I just want you to see here what it says. I'm going to do the inspector. Okay, so take note that this says it's 4.2 feet. Okay. All right. And it has point ID 1. Actually, that's what I want you to see is the point ID number. Okay, so that's point ID 1. Okay, now when I import in a spreadsheet, or I should say a CSV of data points, and I already have markers in my model, you'll get this warning, because what it will do is it's going to take, it's going to import in all these data points and then reset the ID for anything that's already existing in the model. Okay, that the import data set takes precedence. All right, and so here's the import dialog. You have to determine whether it's a comma or TAM delimited. Got to figure out what units the XYZ information in the file is in. It's for the sake of fitting it on the screen here, I'll just go ahead and say it's in inches. That way we can all see it on the screen. You have to figure out what arrangements they're in. Is it going to be in a YXZ or XYZ? And then find out if there's a header on it. I know that this one does not, so I'll go ahead and select here. I'm going to go find my file, and boom, done. And again, notice that when I imported it, all the different layer names, I should say labels, came in on layers. So now I can actually turn on and off all the markers that I don't want to visualize. Okay, pretty self-explanatory. Oh, and then notice here, remember this marker was ID 1, now it's ID 42. So it changed its ID name because we don't want to have duplicate point IDs if you're going to be using this in another piece of software after the export. Which comes to the next tool, and that's going to be the exporter. And again, it's pretty self-explanatory. Go ahead and just click on the button, choose whether you want a header, in what order do you want them to be listed, XYZ or YXZ, what units we're in. We're in feet in SketchUp, or that's how I want them to be exported out in, and hit OK. Find out where you want to drop the file. I'll mark this sample 1. Okay, 42 points were exported, and I'll double click on the CSV and it'll open up in a spreadsheet so you can see it. Okay. So there's all my points. This is a great opportunity for as well if my point tools isn't 100% solid, foolproof. Sometimes it makes duplicates under unique circumstances. So come in here and inspect it yourself. If you want to relabel or reorganize these coordinates, or points I should say, this is where you'll change the ID numbers. Okay, you can do that manually and save it out and then bring it into any other software that you need. Okay, so that's the exporter. The next one in line is the Create Line Work tool. So let me go ahead and just, for the sake of better visualization, I'm going to go ahead and use my Shoot tool. This point. Okay, like that. And maybe I'll do it again. I'll say this is point 2. Okay. So basically what this tool does, the Create Line Work tool, is it allows you to actually stitch together the line work that, I should say stitch together the point markers that have the same label name. Okay, so here's my labels, point and point 2. I'm going to go ahead and select on one of these. Okay, this is, I believe, the point 2 marker. I'll go to this button right here, and it figures out the order in which they were placed by ID number in ascending order, and it's going to just create the line work for you. It is going to place it on a different layer as well. So you see here, you have point 2, the actual markers, and then you have the line work. Okay, let's do the same thing here. Just select any of them. It doesn't really matter. It's going to go out there and find all the ones with the same label name, and boom. Okay, it's pretty easy to see. The last button here is the color by layer button, which you have access to in the layers anyway, but I thought I'd just speed up the process. This is going to help if you have a ton of different types of labels, and you want to just visualize and see by color which one belongs to each other or is associated with each other. Okay, it's an easy one to use. The only other feature that I have is, it's not on the toolbar, is that often people want this origin, this 000 origin of the axis to be actually, they want to give it a different XYZ. Okay, and let's go ahead and just place a marker here so you can see what I mean. Okay. So inspector says the origin 000 and that point is at that origin.
What are you
doing? This point is at the origin, and you'll see here that it actually provides the same information as the origin, 000. And so if I want to change that, I just simply go up to the plugins area, go to the Point Gadget, and set origin. Okay, now I'm going to tell it exactly what that origin represents. So let's just go ahead and change the z-axis here and say this is actually 100 feet. Oops, I don't need to have that symbol there. Make sure you just put the numbers in there and not the actual units. Okay, that's all set. Now, you notice here that that point is at 100 feet. Okay, and it's reflected through all the points and all the reporting tools that the plugin provides. Okay. Be aware also that you can move these all you want. So I'm going to move these up, the up direction, and let's move some of these over into the negative area. Now if I hover over here, you'll see that those XYZ coordinates have changed. Okay, So I try to make this as automated as possible, as dynamic as possible. I hope this helps you out, and let me know if I can help with anything else. Thanks.